Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacts with members of creative and entertainment world on ways to mark 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, says the power of creativity is immense and it is essential to harness the spirit for our nation. President Ramnath Kovind addresses India-Philippines Business Conclave and the 4th ASEAN-India Business Summit in Manila, says Philippines, India's natural partner in ASEAN regions, says there's need to further strengthen trade ties between the two nations. Campaigning ends for Haryana and Maharashtra assembly polls. Voting in both the states to take place on Monday. Counting will be taken up on 24th of this month. Enforcement Directorate conducts raids at 14 locations of DHFL and its promoters in connection with loan sanctioned to Sunblink Real Estate. The company has alleged links with underworld don Dawood Ibrahim's close aide Iqbal Mirchi. British lawmakers vote for a proposal to withhold support for Prime Minister Boris Johnson's Brexit deal until formal ratification legislation has passed. Lawmakers vote 322 to 306 for the amendment put forward by former Conservative lawmaker Oliver Letwin. And in sports, in the third cricket test in Ranchi against South Africa, India consolidates its position from early setback. Opener Rohit Sharma, in sublime form, hits a calculated ton, third in the series. Rahane also heading for a crafty 100. Bad light stops the day's play. Welcome to this bulletin. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today interacted with the members of the creative and entertainment world on ways to mark 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. The interaction was held at his residence at Lok Kalyan Marg in New Delhi. Addressing the gathering, Prime Minister said that Gandhiji is synonymous with simplicity. His thoughts reverberate far and wide. He also said that power of creativity is immense and it is essential to harness the spirit of creativity for our nation. He hailed the efforts of people from the world of films and television in popularizing the ideals of Mahatma Gandhi. Prime Minister shared with eminent film personalities that their work has reached all corners of the world. He said he would be happy to help in any way to ensure maximum impact of their creative initiatives. And noted Bollywood actor Amir Khan appreciated Prime Minister's efforts to further popularize the ideals of Mahatma Gandhi. He assured Prime Minister that he will do even more to popularize Gandhiji's ideals, while actor Shah Rukh Khan appreciated Prime Minister's efforts to involve everyone.
Well, it was a really wonderful interaction that we had with the Honourable Prime Minister today. It was lovely to hear his thoughts, and he was very inspiring, very warm, and very deep in what he had to say.
No, I also feel the fact that film industry can get self-obsessed, and it's important that we create work which sends out messages. And it does not mean that film should only be about messages, but in an engaging and entertaining manner, if we can involve everybody. And I think this kind of
interaction was really good. Yeah.
It's very nice that all of us will get very encouraged.
Yes. Thank you.
And Bollywood actress Jacqueline Fernandez thanked Prime Minister for his support to their efforts.
It was an extreme honor actually to be in the presence, first of all, of PM Modi ji, and also to have a Prime Minister who is so approachable and who is so willing to really raise up the film fraternity, to lend a helping hand and to give us his support. And it was just a real honor and a privilege to be in his presence.
At the gathering, Prime Minister Modi said that Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu told him that after informal summit in Mamallapuram, tourist arrivals have increased there. A lot of people are coming to visit the iconic place. The Chennai Connect was about enhancing friendship between India and China. Prime Minister urged people from the world of creativity to think about ways to encourage more tourists to India. Let's look at some other news now. Campaigning for assembly elections in Maharashtra and Haryana concluded today. Prominent leaders from across all political parties made their last-ditch efforts to woo the voters. A total of 288 constituencies will go for elections in Maharashtra. By size of the electorate, Wardha is the smallest constituency and Panvel is the largest. Among 3,237 candidates in the race, there are a total of 235 female candidates. Bahujan Samaj Party is fielding maximum number of 262 candidates in the state, while 1,400 independent candidates are also contesting these spots. Meanwhile, election will be held in 90 constituencies in Haryana on Monday. By size of the electorates, Narnaul is the smallest and Badshapur is the largest constituency in the state. A total of 1,169 candidates are trying their luck, out of which 104 are female candidates. Electioneering for by-polls in 2 Lok Sabha constituencies and 51 assembly seats in 17 states also came to an end. By-polls will be held in Samastipur Lok Sabha seat in Bihar and Satara Lok Sabha seat in Maharashtra. Assembly constituencies for which by-polls will be held are 11 seats of Uttar Pradesh, 6 of Gujarat, 5 seats each in Kerala and Bihar, 3 in Sikkim, 4 each of Punjab and Assam, 2 each of Tamil Nadu, Rajasthan and Himachal Pradesh, and 1 seat each in Odisha, Telangana, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Meghalaya, Puducherry and Arunachal Pradesh. Polling in Haryana and Maharashtra by-polls for 2 Lok Sabha constituencies and 51 assembly seats will take place on Monday. Counting will be taken up on the 24th of this month. The Enforcement Directorate on Saturday conducted searches at about a dozen premises of DHFL and other linked firms in connection with its money laundering probe against Iqbal Mirchi, the aide of global terrorist Dawood Ibrahim. They said the raids are being conducted in and around Mumbai under provision of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. About a dozen premises are being searched. The Diwan Housing Finance Corp Limited allegedly had business links with Sun Blink Real Estate, the firm at the heart of investigations into the financial dealings of Mirchi. The DHFL had given loans of Rs 2,186 crore to the real estate firm. The ED suspects these monies were allegedly routed by Sunblink into the accounts linked to Mirchi and his associates. The agency is looking for evidence in the form of documents and other paraphernalia as part of the latest operation. DHFL earlier said it had no links to the alleged dubious transactions. Enforcement Directorate turned up the heat in the money laundering case linked to the multi-crore real estate deals of Mirchi and others after recently arresting 2 of his alleged aides. Moving on, President Ramnath Kovind today addressed the India-Philippines Business Conclave and the 4th ASEAN-India Business Summit in Manila. President Kovind said that Philippines is India's natural partner in ASEAN region and there have been upswing in trading activities between the 2 nations. However, there is need to further accelerate the trade ties between the 2 countries.
नौमि श्री भगवन्तं गणपतिमति वरदं वरदन्ति मुखं सुमुखं सादर मे करदं वरदं विपदुदधौतं धौतमलं शमलं शमलम्.
The Philippines is our natural partner in the ASEAN region. In recent years, we have seen an upswing in bilateral trade and investment. We need to not just maintain the present momentum, but to accelerate it further.
And President also said that ASEAN-India trade cooperation has witnessed an increase of 19%, and by 2022, India's trade ties with ASEAN is expected to reach $200 billion.
Last year alone, the trade increased by 19% to reach $96.79 billion. However, we still have a long distance to cover to reach the target of $200 billion by 2022. Effective use of existing mechanisms, particularly the ASEAN-India Business Council, can go a long way in realizing this goal.
And earlier, President Ramnath Kovind interacted with parents of babies who underwent liver transplant in India as part of Philippines-India Pediatric Liver Transplant Program. President said that he feels delighted that India's engagement with Philippines has brought people's causes and life-giving projects within its expanding ambit. Indian medical institutions are working with their Philippines counterpart to bring down the transplant costs in the Philippines.
India's engagement in this country has brought people's causes and life-giving projects within its expanding ambit, be it facilitating liver transplant for Filipino babies or providing prosthetic foot to the needy. President Duterte himself mentioned to me his happiness at this ongoing health cooperation.
And briefing about President Ramnath Kovind's Philippines visit, Vijay Thakur Singh, Secretary East, Ministry of External Affairs, said that bilateral relations between the two countries are deepening. She said India and Philippines are the two fastest growing economies and have great potential for cooperation. She also said that both the countries have to focus on capacity building.
As far as the economics is concerned, there is the fact that India and Philippines are two fast-growing economies in the region, and there is great potential for cooperation in the two countries, not only because of this aspiration that the two countries have, but also in terms of the complementarities that exist between our two countries. In terms of aspirations, Philippines has their Build program, and India has its Make in India program. So hence, both of us are looking at building infrastructures, and there could be complementarities that exist.
Multimedia exhibition on 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi was organized in India Pavilion at the Frankfurt International Book Fair today. The life and philosophy of Mahatma Gandhi was celebrated by performing Dandi Yatra. Participants in huge number took part in this yatra. Prizes were given to students who participated in the event. Frankfurt International Book Fair is the largest and most important book fair which is held annually in the month of October. This year, the 5-day fair is being organized from 16th to 20th October. The pavilion is center of attraction this year as people have relevant information, and they're gathering information on Gandhiji and other eminent leaders in a short span with a touch of a screen. Speaking on the occasion, Consul General of India in Frankfurt, Pratibha Parker, said that the whole world is celebrating 150th birth anniversary of Gandhiji to re-emphasize his message of truth and non-violence. A dilapidated building collapsed in Gujarat today. While work is on to demolish the building was underway in Chani, Jakatnagar area of Vadodara. Several laborers working at the site are feared to be trapped. Fire brigades came to rescue as soon as the incident came to light. Meanwhile, the reports last came in. Search and rescue operations are underway. Till now, at least 7 workers are said to be trapped under the debris. The second edition of bilateral annual military exercise Dharma Guardian 2019 between India and Japan's army commenced at Counterinsurgency and Jungle Warfare School in Mizoram. The Japan contingent is represented by 34th Infantry Regiment, 1st Division, Japan Ground Self-Defense Forces, while the India side is represented by a battalion of Dogra Regiment. 25 soldiers from each battalion are participating in this joint exercise. The aim of the joint exercise and training is joint training of troops in counterinsurgency, counter-terrorism operations in both mountainous terrains. As part of the exercise, important lectures, demonstrations and drills related to counterinsurgency and counter-terror operations will be conducted. Both the armies will also share their valuable experiences in countering such situations, as also refine drills and procedures for joint operations. The exercise will culminate with a 72 hours validation phase, which will test the skills of the soldiers in conducting joint operations in counter-terrorism scenario. The opening ceremony of the second edition of India-Myanmar Naval Exercise was conducted on board INS Ranvijay in Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh. Myanmar naval ships UMS Sinfusin F-14 and UMS Tabin Sheti arrived at Visakhapatnam, and they would engage in professional interaction with the Indian Navy personnel for sharing of expertise on various maritime issues between the two navies. The harbour phase of IMNEX 19, scheduled till October 20th, includes visits to Indian naval units, training and maintenance facility at Visakhapatnam. During the sea phase, scheduled from October 20th to 22nd, INS Ranvijay, a guided missile destroyer, and INS Kotar, a missile corvette, will be carrying joint exercise with MN ships UMS Sinfusin and frigate and UMS Tabin Sheti, a corvette in the Bay of Bengal, and also undertake variety of evolutions including anti-air and surface firing exercises, flying exercises using integral helicopter and seamanship evolutions at sea. Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana is hugely benefiting farmers of the country. The scheme introduced by the centre provides financial assistance to the marginal farmers. Under the scheme, 6,000 rupees are directly transferred to the bank accounts of the beneficiary farmers in a year. Farmers of Mandla district of Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh are also benefiting from the scheme. Here's a ground report from Mandla.
Farmers of Mandla district in Bhopal are being benefited from Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana. Ram Prasad, a farmer of Gazipur village in Mandla district, says that earlier he was forced to borrow money to buy seed and sow crop. But things have changed now. Through the financial support he is getting under the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi, Ram Prasad no longer has to borrow money from anyone. This has instilled a sense of freedom in him. He is grateful to the Prime Minister for this initiative for the welfare of the farmers.
को ये फायदा होगा कि हमारे जो जेवर जाता हम जे साहूकारों के पास में रखते थे वो अब हमको रखना नहीं पड़ेगा, और जब अभी जैसा ही हम कर्जा बेड़ा करके और खेती किसानी तो कर लिए थे, फसल भी आई चुकी है, तो अभी जब जैसे ही शुरू किस्त डाला तो हमको बड़ी खुशी हुई, क्योंकि इससे पहले कोई सरकार ने अभी तक हमको ₹1 का आसरा नहीं दिया था। हम बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देंगे प्रधानमंत्री जी को।
Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana is a commendable initiative by the government towards realizing the dream to double farmers' income by 2022. Bureau Report, DD News.
The concluding session of the International Conference of the Central Government Library Association was held at Indira Gandhi National Centre for Arts in Delhi on Saturday. Addressing the gathering, Prasar Bharati Chairman A. Surya Prakash said, in the present times, despite the digital era, the importance of libraries has not diminished. He expressed concern over the issue of fake news.
"20 years ago, there was talk that this physical library would die away because of the digital revolution. You don't need to go to a library to read books or to read manuscripts or data. Everything would be digitized. Fortunately, that has not happened. Around the world, there is still great interest in the physical library. The two go hand in hand. So you now have a hybrid of a library everywhere around the world. The digitization is going to, of reports, etc., is going to help in this regard. The other thing is fake news that floats around. So people who handle data, our librarians, who will double up as cybrarians, have a very important role in sifting data and ensuring that people don't get wrong facts, and that can lead to social tensions and other problems.
Let's look at some international news now. In a historic weekend Parliament session, the first in 37 years, British MPs on Saturday voted to back a motion that delays the vote on British Prime Minister Boris Johnson's Brexit deal struck with the European Union. In a setback to Johnson, the 322 versus 306 vote on an important amendment means that UK Prime Minister is bound by the Benn Act passed earlier by the parliamentarians to write to the EU by midnight on Saturday, seeking a delay to the October 31st deadline, as no new deal has been passed in the Commons by October 19th cut-off date. Meanwhile, Prime Minister of UK Boris Johnson declared in Parliament soon after Saturday's vote that he will not be seeking an extension to the end October Brexit deadline, adding that I will do all I can to get Brexit done by October 31st. He also cried that further delay would be bad for the country, bad for the European Union and bad for democracy.
I will not negotiate a delay with the EU, and neither does the law compel me to do so. I will tell our friends and colleagues in the EU exactly what I have told everyone in the last 88 days that I've served as Prime Minister, that further delay would be bad for this country, bad for our European Union and bad for democracy. So next week, the government will introduce the legislation needed for us to leave the EU with our new deal on October the 31st.
At least 15 gold miners were killed when a dam collapsed, flooding and mining encampment in a remote part of Siberia. Heavy rains had weakened the dam and water broke through, sweeping away several cabins where the artisan miners lived. About 160 kilometers south of the city of Krasnyak, President Vladimir Putin ordered all necessary measures to be taken up to help the affected, to identify the cause of the disaster and prevent any impact on a nearby residential area. Russia is one of the world's top gold producers, with most of its output coming from large professional industrial mines. However, alluvial production, which is usually operated by small firms, still contributes some of the country's gold. Back home, Union Sports Minister Kiren Rijiju felicitated the Indian women's boxing team for their performance at the Women's World Boxing Championship. Sports Minister also made it clear that the government would not interfere in the selection matters, but advised the Boxing Federation of India, that's PFI, to be transparent and also resolve the Nikhat Zareen Mary Kom matter in the best possible manner.
Union Sports Minister Kiren Rijiju felicitated the Indian women's boxing team for their performance at the Women's World Boxing Championship held in Russia. India won 1 silver and 3 bronze medals, which is the best performance of the country in the tournament. The Sports Minister honoured silver medalist Manju Rani with a cash prize of Rs 14 lakhs, while the 3 bronze medalists MC Mary Kom, Lovelina and Jamuna were given Rs 8 lakhs each.
This Boxing Women's World Championship has been the best so far, and we got 4 medals, 1 silver and 3 bronze. Earlier we used to have just token, 1 or 2, and Mary Kom has been always there for India, but this time Mary Kom and then Manju got silver and Lovelina and Jamuna got the bronze. So 4 medals is a record for India.
The Sports Minister also steered clear of the controversy triggered by boxer Nikhat Zareen's demand for a trial bout against celebrated MC Mary Kom, saying he should not get involved beyond the advising federation to make the best choice.
Government do not involve in the process of selection. If there are anomalies, if there are breaking of rules, if there are certain things which is not in the interest of the sport, we make advisory suggestion. See, Olympic Charter is very clear that government should not intervene into the functioning of the sports administration of the federation. It's very clear. But having said that, when I receive certain, letter or request or representation, I have to respond, because after all they expect something from the minister. When the players or sports federation approach the minister, there is expectation. Then I have to deal with those representations in an appropriate manner.
The Indian women boxers have 2 attempts at qualifying for the Olympics through the Asia and Oceania qualifier in Wuhan from February 3rd to 14th and followed by World Olympic qualifying tournament in Paris from May 13th. Tapas Bhattacharya's report, DD News, Delhi.
In cricket, India finished day 1 of the 3rd test in Ranchi in a commanding position thanks to Rohit Sharma's 6th test century on Saturday. India were 224 for 3 when bad light forced the umpires to take the players off the field. Soon after, rain in Ranchi led to early stumps in the opening day of the 3rd test. Rohit Sharma was unbeaten on 117 while Ajinkya Rahane, who is eyeing his 11th test 100, was at 83. It started so promisingly, even though South Africa lost their 10th straight toss in the subcontinent. New coin tosser Temba Bavuma called wrong and South Africa, with 5 changes, had to bowl first. But for a while, the lost spark was back under cloudy skies. Kagiso Rabada's new ball spell brought 2 wickets. Lungi Nigidi kept the pressure on and Andrich claimed a dream maiden scalp in Virat Kohli. Then they ran into Rohit Sharma and Ajinkya Rahane. The first session saw spin only in the 22nd over, which had Rohit dropped off Rabada on 28. There was another chance in the next session against the same bowler. When Rohit edged through the vacant 3rd slip region, he was on 43 then and never looked back. Having scored his first 7 runs off 33 balls and the next 45 runs came off 53, and once he had the 50, Rohit went into overdrive. The second session in many ways was the antithesis to the first. Started with Rabada conceding as many as 6 boundaries in the first 2 overs. Ajinkya Rahane, the less conspicuous partner in the unbeaten 185-run stand for the 4th wicket, which is a record for India against South Africa in tests. He will go into day 2 unbeaten on 83, and by the time bad light brought play to an early end in Ranchi, it was an advantage India. Once again, Sports Desk, DD News.
50 of just 44.
And with that, we conclude this bulletin. Namaskar.